One smart way to make sense of a new and growing segment like subcompact SUVs is with a comparison test. So we nabbed a Honda HR-V, Mazda CX-3, and Fiat 500X, each brand new models for 2016, along with a Jeep Renegade, which was launched in 2015, and the Chevy Trax. Or at least we would have if a Trax had been available during our test. As a fallback, we tossed a Buick Encore into the mix. Yeah, it's fancier and more expensive than its Trax cousin, but including it proved illuminating nonetheless. With all that on the table, here's what we learned over the course of 700 desolate miles through the desert. Revelation number 1, we very much like the Honda HR-V, starting with its engine and continuously variable transmission. Each do their part to deliver smooth, responsive power along with good fuel efficiency. During our test, this all-wheel drive HR-V returned a reasonable 29.3 mpg, landing right between the city and highway EPA figures. Once free from the freeway, the HR-V's light steering and compact size made for easy parking and pleasant driving. Despite subcompact dimensions, the HR-V's interior is surprisingly spacious. Storage space behind the rear seats is tops in our 5-car test, a practical reality enhanced by flat-folding second-row seats with seat cushions that also lift up to carry tall cargo. Complaints include an infotainment system that could be more user-friendly and comparatively tame styling outside and inside, depending on your taste. Otherwise, the Honda HR-V shines as a roomy, pragmatic, reasonably priced subcompact SUV boasting enviable resale values and filled with desirable features. As is frequently the case with Hondas, the HR-V is an easily justifiable choice. By contrast, the Fiat 500X is a polarizing choice. The cute/rugged exterior really is nice to look at, and the interior can be outfitted with some interesting materials and colors, but dive beneath the superficial, and the 500X becomes a harder sell. Fiat's attempt to inject sport into the X results in a rough ride, without ever seriously challenging the king of fun, Mazda CX-3. Further sapping the driving experience is nonlinear power delivery that makes it hard to leave smoothly from a stop. On a positive note, the 500X's Uconnect infotainment system remains a favorite among staffers for its simple operation. Then again, that infotainment system is placed in a cabin that, while not punishingly small, is on the small side for the segment. Not to pile on, but it's also worth considering that the 500X is likely to return lower than average resale values while also harboring the specter of future repair bills. Bottom line, if you're going to take the plunge on a Fiat 500X, you better love the way it looks. It shares a core structure with the Fiat 500X, so you might assume the Jeep Renegade would struggle in similar fashion. But you would be wrong. By skipping the sporting pretense, the Renegade is a much more comfortable ride. In our little gathering, it's not the smoothest driving or quietest SUV, but the tiniest of Jeeps is perfectly livable during extended jaunts across state lines. The Jeep Renegade is also much roomier than the 500X. Not quite HR-V roomy, but roomy for a subcompact, offering good space for gear and people alike. The real differentiator with the Renegade is that, unlike the rest of the field, it's a viable off-roader, especially when equipped with tow hooks, low-range gearing, and 8.7 inches of ground clearance in Renegade Trailhawk guise. All that Jeepy goodness can't obscure the fact that fuel economy is underwhelming for the class. The optional 2.4-liter engine's 9-speed automatic transmission is a poor decision-maker, the enticing base price doesn't include air conditioning, and resale values will probably trail the Honda HR-V and Mazda CX-3. Still, the Renegade looks great, drives fine, is reasonably practical, and can take you places no other subcompact SUV can. There are plenty of good reasons to buy a Jeep Renegade. Knowing what we know about Mazdas, it was no surprise to discover that the CX-3 was the most thrilling subcompact in our test. Its 146 horsepower engine and 6-speed automatic transmission conspire to deliver eager acceleration, while a well-tuned chassis transforms steering inputs into smile-inducing G-forces. Beyond its dynamic thrills, the CX-3 is a technology dynamo, offering a thoroughly intuitive infotainment system and advanced safety features. The available adaptive cruise control, for example, does an excellent job keeping pace with the vehicle ahead. Conversely, the optional lane departure warning system chimed in too aggressively for our taste, leading some of our testers to just shut it off. However, the Mazda's most significant shortcoming is, well, a literal shortcoming. With notably less head, leg, and shoulder room than the Honda HR-V, the CX-3's back seat is uncomfortably tight for adults. Luggage space is similarly scarce. On the other hand, the Mazda's tidy size makes urban exploration a delight, as does a standard backup camera and even more handy tech in the form of optional cross-traffic alert and automatic emergency braking systems. Further tempering its size-related deficiencies, the CX-3 boasts the best combined fuel economy figure of our test group. It's not our first choice where practicality is concerned, but for drivers who demand maximum style and fun, the mighty CX-3 is the subcompact SUV to choose. Did you know that the Encore is Buick's top-selling vehicle? Having driven one for 700 miles, we have an inkling why. In spite of its subcompact size, the Encore is absolutely a Buick, as exemplified by stout turbocharged acceleration, a comfortable ride, and an exceptionally quiet interior. Speaking of the interior, we appreciate the Encore's nice materials, fine infotainment system with 7-inch screen, and good cargo space accessed via a large hatch opening. Encore resale values might trail its imported competitors, but the littlest of Buicks still scores well where 5-year cost to own is concerned. If your budget can tolerate its elevated price, the Encore will reward you with easy parkability, tasteful styling inside and out, and impressively refined road manners. One last note, a thoroughly updated Encore will arrive for the 2017 model year, offering Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and sporting a sharper exterior and an improved interior. The Smart Play might be to wait for the 2017 Encore, or at the very least score an awesome deal on the 2016. And that's a very brief look at Kelley Blue Book's 2016 subcompact SUV comparison. For a thrilling deep dive into each vehicle and a better look at our findings in general, be sure to explore our complete comparison coverage.